Hi, this is Runa, and you're listening to the Changemakers podcast, where we share tips, insight, tools, and stories from other changemakers designed to motivate you to become the change you want to see in your world. Make sure you join our Changemakers community at runamagnus.com/podcast. And now, this is your time to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Meet my guest, Ariel Garten. Probably one of the most interesting people on this planet. I mean, her X factor is quite something. She is a neuroscientist, a psychotherapist, a mom, former fashion designer, and the female founder and visionary of an amazing and highly successful tech startup called Muse, which is an equipment that tracks your brain during meditation. Now, in this episode, Ariel is going to be sharing with us how she started the whole thing, why she thinks this is the thing that can really help you leave your not good enough box or any of the limiting beliefs boxes that you might have found yourself in, and how Muse can really help you become the best version of yourself. Yeah, I know, big things. So let's dig into it, meet Ariel, and let's talk about brain, Muse, and how you can become the change that you want to see in your world. Here you go. Right now, we are off for it. Gosh, you're going to love this episode. I'm really excited for many reasons, particularly because I think we're coming to something that is going to be really, really juicy. And my feeling here is that my guest today is going to be telling us a little bit about the technology that we can use to help us become more aware of our own behavior and how we place each other and others into boxes. Welcome, Ariel. So pleased to have you as a guest on the Changemakers podcast.
Hello, it is my sincere pleasure to be here. It's very exciting.
Isn't it? I'm just going to dive directly into the content here. Ariel, you started a program or a product that is based on neuroscience, it's based on meditation, and it's really transforming people's lives. Can you tell us more about your product, Muse, and
Sure.
How did that come to you, actually?
So I make a device called Muse. It is a brain-sensing headband that helps you meditate. Everybody knows that meditation is good for you, but meditation can be really hard to do. And certainly your entire audience knows meditation is good for you, but sometimes you sit down to meditate, you sit there, your brain bounces all over the place, and you're like, what am I doing? What's going on in my brain? How do I do this well? And so we wanted to solve that problem. So Muse gives you real-time feedback on your brain while you meditate. It actually tracks your brain activity during meditation and translates the sound of your meditation into guiding sounds. And the metaphor we use is your mind is like the weather. So when you're thinking, distracted, you actually hear it as stormy. And as you bring yourself to quiet focused attention, it quiets the storm. So you get real-time feedback during your meditation to know what your brain is doing, to know if you're quote unquote doing it right. And then after the fact, you get data. So you actually get to see your brain's progress. You get to track your data. You have charts, graphs, things that actually keep you motivated and engaged so that you can meditate every day.
Wow. So that means you can see the alpha waves, you can see how deep your meditation is, and you can see basically what was coming up. Like, I'm a daily practitioner of meditation myself, and yeah, you're right. Sometimes your brain is racing, and even though you're trying, or you're not maybe trying, I would say more of being more conscious that you lost it and you're coming back. It's like, oh, here I go again, and like going back into your core. So you can really see that, the whole monograph.
The whole process, yes. You hear it and you hear it. You see it and you hear it. Wow. So as a meditator in a focused attention meditation, your mind wanders. As you mentioned, it's your job to notice it and then bring it back. But it can be like 1 to 4 minutes. You're like, oh, right, I'm thinking about my dinner again. Time to come back to my breath. Yeah. So Muse instantly cues you as soon as your mind begins to wander. It lets you know when you're having a thought. And that then becomes your cue to bring yourself back to your breath. So it really trains this process of metacognition. It really shows you what's going on inside your mind during meditation and makes the entire process much more transparent.
Wow, I love that. So can you share with us, I mean, your background in neuroscience is so interesting, and psychotherapist, and well, I would love to see how it connects with being a former fashion designer, but nevertheless, how does that originally come your way? Why did you start yourself?
So I was fascinated by the brain and how it allows us to understand the world around us. You know, everything you perceive, everything you smell, everything you see goes through the brain. And so I thought if I could understand the brain, I could really understand the basis of how we interact in our world. And then as a psychotherapist, I was teaching people to meditate as a way to help them really get over the stories and the narratives that were in our heads. We're all these amazing, capable, phenomenal creatures, but we have these stories that hold us back of, I'm not good enough, it'll never work, I don't know. And so meditation was such a powerful tool for me to use with my patients, but they were rarely doing it because it was really hard to do. So at the same time, I had a background in neuroscience, and I started working a few years earlier in a research lab of Dr. Steve Mann. He's one of the inventors of the wearable computer, and he had an early brain-computer interface system, so an electrode on the back of your head that would track your brain activity and allow you to interact with technology. And we started by thinking that we were going to create thought control technology, literally control the world with our mind. And then we realized that the best application of this technology was not to control stuff outside of ourselves, but to be able to understand and control our own mind. So it was really the perfect storm of, having experience as a therapist, helping people shift what goes on in their brain, meeting this incredible technology, and then having the vision along with my co-founders, Chris and Trevor, to see that this could really move the needle for humanity if we applied it to meditation.
And what are the results? What have you seen? Can you share any stories from people that are using this on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, sure. It's totally amazing. So there's literally hundreds of thousands of people that use it every single day. We sell all over the world. We're in 5 countries, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and English, with Japanese coming next. And so we're constantly hearing stories of people whose lives have become better because they've started a meditation practice or they've finally gotten it. I actually was talking to a meditation teacher last week, and I asked him how long he'd been meditating for, and he said 2 years. I said, how long you've been using Muse for? He said 2 years. So he got through his practice of being a meditation teacher, but he only counted when he really began meditating is when he started using Muse, because he said that was the time when he finally got it. All of the reading, all of everything finally made sense to him.
So really felt the difference, really went into that really good silent space that is so peaceful. And speaking of peace, and another word that is coming up for me when you're saying this is this freedom that comes from peace.
Yes.
How does a person really live freely in their own mind? Yes, this is a short amount of time if you think about 24 hours in a day and you meditate maybe 10, 20 minutes or whatever. But what is the effect that you see doing this having on our mind, having on our sense of being free and having that peace?
So you just said my favorite word of any word of all time, and that is free. So I grew up as the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. I grew up with this deep understanding of how important freedom is. And it's really permeated so much of my thinking and so much of my life. And we don't realize all of the ways that our own mind can imprison us. We don't realize all of the ways that the narratives that we tell ourselves hold us back from what we think we can do, from what we think our body can do, for what we think we can be in the world. And so for me, meditation is a profound path to freedom because it's a path that frees you from your limiting thoughts. So with meditation, what you learn to do is understand that the thoughts that go on in your head don't actually need to drive you. They're just thoughts, and you can have a choice about the kinds of thoughts that you have. And once you realize that you are not your thoughts, it also means that all of that they've been telling you about yourself are also not necessarily true. And so you can start to build your own narrative and really make your own choices. It's extraordinary. And for me in my own life, meditation has led to freedom in so many degrees, whether it's basic things like not being anxious standing in front of an audience to, feeling like I have unlimited potential, unlimited abilities to accomplish whatever I can conceive of. And the barrier for me is just what I can conceive, not how I can actually get there.
Yeah. What is coming up in my mind is when you're saying this, it's really how meditation can help us see beyond the boxes that we are either been placed into or we placed ourselves into. Like you just mentioned, the not good enough box, or these limiting beliefs that we can't do it, or, because I'm a woman or I'm a man or I'm black or I'm white or I have this faith or another faith or whatever it is that we tell ourselves that we can't. And by using meditation and really then going into your technique, it just, I can feel the freedom in humanity for sure. And as we, the change makers, our thing is empowering humans to become the change that they want to see in their world. And my gosh, feeling liberated, feeling free to do so is really one of the core steps to step in and really become the change that you want to see in the world. So thank you, Ariel, so much for the things that you're doing to humanity and how you're continuing supporting people all over the world, helping them to do that. And one last question. When I was doing my little research before our call, one of the things that I noticed is your passion for empowering women in business. And just very quickly, what is it about women and women in business that lights your fire?
So I love to empower everybody in business to succeed. I particularly am really passionate about supporting women in business because in so many ways we've heard that we're not supposed to be big CEOs. Like I was the female CEO of a tech company for 7 years when people would constantly ask me, oh my God, you're a woman in tech, what's it like? And so we so need to change this narrative that I'm doing everything I can to help change the narrative.
It's a box.
Yeah, the box.
Yeah, it's a box, yeah.
Yep, it's a box that we just need to fill with more people so it dissolves.
Yeah.
And I actually have one woman that I'm supporting who is starting a startup in Silicon Valley, and she's much later in age. She has graying hair, and it's fascinating how that is such a box. She's an older woman. As an older woman, there's a whole different set of stigma that is around her, around starting a tech startup. And so that's probably, the person I'm most passionate about supporting at this moment, because it's like we can break that box too.
Yeah, we can. And Ariel, and you are doing that. I don't know about you guys. I am going to head over to her website and get myself these tools. You have inspired me. I've been meditating for, I don't know how many years, tons of years. But something is telling me I need to go to Muse.com and get myself one piece of equipment and see if what will happen when I see the results from my daily meditation. Ariel, thank you so much for sharing a tiny bit of what you're doing and how you're changing the world. And to our audience, please go to the show notes where you can find everything about Ariel, how to connect with her, and how to get grab one piece of the Muse, and not to mention even how to listen to her own podcast, because I believe she's a co-host of the Untangled podcast. So that's it for me. Ariel, thank you so much.
My pleasure. And as a last word to anybody out there thinking that they want to be a change maker, all I have to say is go do it. There are so many things that we have the ability to change in the world, and all we need is the confidence to go and do it. There is literally nothing standing in your way. If you see a problem, just ask yourself over and over again, what is the solution? And then allow yourself to go and make it happen. It doesn't matter if you have the skills required. You can bring people who do. It doesn't matter if you have the financial resources. You will find a way to start moving and shifting the system. Just start, speak about it, share your passion with everyone, get people on board, and let's all make change together.
Oh yeah, I say kudos to that. Thank you so much, Ariel. Was this podcast of value for you? I sure hope so. If so, feel free to share the love and give us your generous review on iTunes or Stitcher. And remember that you can always go to runemagnus.com to find out more about the Changemakers and how we can help you drive the change you want to see in your world.